Hello and welcome to Food Fusion. I'm Charles Matheson. In this podcast, I talk about the world of food, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it all tastes really good. So today I'm going to be talking about cooking on the fly. So cooking on the fly to me means I have ingredients in my fridge, leftovers, and I want to eat it before it goes bad. So I got to make something. Or I am with friends, family, and we want to eat indoors and we have to cook something. And I was in this situation recently. I was with my sisters. We met in Maryland about 2 weeks ago, and we spent time together. And so we're not the type of family where we have to go out and do things. We can just literally just spend time in the living room and just listen to music and talk for hours and hours and just enjoy being around each other, which I absolutely love. So on the first night that we were there, we had talked about going to a restaurant, but then as my family as we are, we just said let's just stay in. And so I volunteered to cook. And so we had like a mini feast of different items. So one of the things that I cooked on the fly was rosemary and garlic chicken, roasted rosemary and garlic chicken with soy sauce. Now, this recipe was informed by one of my favorite recipes of all times, and that is getting a whole chicken and then roasting it in rosemary and sage with soy sauce. So that is to say, before I go into the story of that, is cooking on the fly for me involves using my background in recipes, using recipes in cooking, and then tweaking the recipe, the new food I'm going to make at that moment. So I was originally going to make rosemary and sage thighs and just make the same thing like the whole chicken, except I said I wanted to try something different because I never made that before. So it came out really well. So how I made it was I got my garlic and rosemary and then some salt and some vegetable oil, and I mixed that up. I didn't use a lot of vegetable oil because chicken when the chicken thighs roast, the fat is going to render and make a wonderful gravy. So I cooked that on roast at about 380 degrees for maybe 50 minutes. That's like a slow cook setting, so it doesn't like burn. And then when it was about 80% cooked, I added some soy sauce and then I basted it about every 5 minutes. And it was delightful. And the thighs were kind of like split open, so they like laid flat. I never seen thighs look like that. So it was almost like chicken breast, but it was actually thighs. So main takeaway from that cooking on the fly experience is that using recipes you already know to inform making new recipes. When you have the flavor profile already, you can mix and match different ingredients when you're making a new dish. The another dish I made when I was at my sister in Maryland, I made garlic stir fry steak with hoisin sauce. And this was a new dish for me. I don't often cook with beef, but my sister, she had beef there. So stir fry beef. So she had wanted us to make that at some point. So I first got, it was ground chuck, and I cooked that in a lot of garlic and vegetable oil until it was nearly completely cooked. Then I added some bell red pepper, and then I added some cayenne pepper, and then some hoisin sauce. I love to cook with hoisin sauce. Stir fry works really well with hoisin sauce. It's a little sweet and it has that Asian flair. And so I took my knowledge of hoisin sauce and how it tastes already, and then I paired that with the garlic. And I never made that before, and it came out really, really good. And we had that with some broccoli that I cooked in butter and oil. So the butter and oil, cooking broccoli in butter and oil, it gives it almost like a crispy kind of taste. There's nothing like buttery broccoli. It's just the absolute best. So start educating yourself in cooking. If you are looking to cook on the fly, like cooking on the fly is great because you get to challenge yourself and to try something different. And I'll say that I in my life I've watched quite a number of cooking shows, and I've read quite a number of cookbooks and used quite a number of recipes I find on the internet, and all of that informs my cooking on the fly. Last night, I made some noodles, and I got some ban pho noodles. They're Vietnamese noodles, and I had some peanut sauce in the fridge. It was from three Daily 365, something 365 from Whole Foods, and then I had some cooked shrimp already, and then I put that all together, and boom, it was really good. And the noodles were in my fridge for, I think, for like a week. So I knew I wanted to use them up. And so using leftovers is a great way to cook on the fly. I mean, just like that's where most of my cooking on the fly comes from leftovers. Like I like to use all the food that I have, and I don't like to waste food. Like it's for me, that's just like the absolute. That's like a faux pas for me. So look in your fridge today. See what's in there. Look at those sauces. Look at those carbs. Whether it's rice, noodles, pasta, and see what you can make out of it. So this is Food Fusion for today. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends, subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening to it, and I'll see you next time.